Welcome to Scientific Principles and How They Affect Our Swimmers. What we will cover. Why do scientific principles matter? Buoyancy, balance, density, propulsion, kicking, sculling, paddling, stroke propulsion, resistance, frontal resistance, wave drag, and viscous drag. Understanding the scientific principles will help us to understand what is happening to our swimmers in the water. Each of the scientific principles we explore will have a direct effect on a swimmer's ability and their progress. By understanding the principles, we will be able to pinpoint why our swimmers are struggling in their lessons, making slow progress, getting frustrated, or not achieving their goals. We will be able to help them master their environment, correct faults, refine their techniques, and reach their full potential. Buoyancy is the scientific principle that determines whether a swimmer floats or sinks the water. When floating, gravity makes a swimmer's body weight push down on the water. Buoyancy kicks in and the water pushes back, allowing the swimmer to float. If the force of the buoyancy is greater than the swimmer's weight, they float. If it's less, they sink. Understanding buoyancy helps swimmers stay calm and conserve energy by learning to float when fatigued and provides the basis for a swimmer's body position when traveling in water. Balance is one of the first complex skills swimmers need to master. Misalignment of the head and hips causes the legs and hips to sink. The body weight needs to be balanced. Tension in the body, especially in the neck or shoulders, can negatively affect balance. Use controlled breathing. Fully inflated lungs improve buoyancy and help maintain a balanced position. Activate the core muscles to stabilize the body and prevent sagging or excessive arching of the back. Achieving proper body balance involves positioning the body flat on the water's surface, with the head in a neutral position, head back in the water, and eyes looking up. Elongated neck, relaxed shoulders. Arms should be positioned above the head, up by the ears to balance out the weight of the legs like a seesaw. The legs should be stretched and afloat on the surface of the water. To help with balance, watch our teacher in the video try to assist our swimmer in keeping his arms above his head. This is to distribute more weight above the head, to balance the legs, and stretch the torso, making the swimmer nice and flat on the surface. The head is important too, on both the back and the front. Take a look at the swimmer in the video who achieves a nice flat position on the surface of the water once the face goes in. As soon as the swimmer lifts their head, their hips sink, and they are forced to stand. Notice the problem in the next video. A similar problem occurs on the back. Although the swimmer's arms and legs are in a great position, the chin is down. This causes the hips to sink and the body to sink. By instructing the swimmer to lift the chin and put their head back into a neutral position, this will correct the problem. Body density also affects how swimmers float. Everyone's body shape and size is different, and will respond differently when it is in the water. But the less dense something is, the easier it will float. Fat is less dense than water, so individuals with higher body fat tend to float more easily. A lack of body fat can also cause some swimmers to sink, and swimmers with more muscle mass will often face difficulty floating in a flat position. Air in the lungs acts like a natural flotation device. Fully inflating the lungs increases buoyancy. Exhaling too much reduces the air volume in the lungs, decreasing buoyancy and potentially causing the swimmer to sink. A swimmer's distribution of mass matters. Long legs or dense lower body regions can cause the legs to sink. Raising the arms above the head will balance the body more and allow the swimmer to float. What is important to remember is that there are many factors that impact buoyancy. The optimal position is horizontal on the water, but variations will be seen frequently. Developing a strong and effective kick is essential for all strokes and swimmers at all levels. Kicking in swimming is vital for propulsion as it plays a key role in generating forward motion and maintaining balance in the water. Kicking is not just about moving the legs. It is a core component of swimming that influences speed, balance, efficiency, and overall performance. Sculling is a much smaller movement but is the basis of all arm pulls in the swimming strokes. It focuses on creating lift and forward motion through precise hand movements. It enhances propulsion, stability, and technique. By mastering sculling, swimmers gain greater control over their movements and a deeper understanding of how to interact with the water efficiently. This makes it an invaluable practice for both beginners and advanced swimmers. Paddling is also a fundamental component of swimming that provides the bulk of propulsion in the arm pull. Paddling also supports balance and contributes to overall efficiency. Mastery of paddling is essential for swimmers at all levels as it directly impacts their speed, control, and endurance in the water. Kicking in swimming propels the swimmer forward by using the feet to push against the water, generating momentum by providing propulsive force. In strokes like front crawl and backstroke, the kick is continuous and alternating, helping to maintain speed and rhythm. In breaststroke and butterfly, both legs kick simultaneously, creating a powerful force that works with the arms to drive the swimmer forward. As swimmers become more advanced, kicking becomes even more important for enhancing speed. For example, one of the most effective swimming techniques is the underwater dolphin kick, which allows the swimmer to gain speed and distance before surfacing. Without an effective kick, the legs may drop, increasing resistance and slowing the swimmer down. A strong kick helps maintain a straight, horizontal body position, reducing drag and allowing for a smoother glide through the water. The legs also play a key role in balancing the upper body. In alternating strokes like front crawl, a well-timed kick stabilizes the swimmer's movement, making arm strokes smoother and more controlled. In breaststroke and butterfly, the kick keeps everything in sync and helps maintain rhythm. Regular kicking practice strengthens the leg muscles, improves endurance, and enables the swimmer to maintain strong propulsion over longer distances. Each swimming stroke has a unique kicking rhythm. In front crawl and amp, backstroke swimmers use a 2, 4, or 6-beat kick, which must synchronize with arm strokes for efficiency. In breaststroke, the kick helps maintain momentum during the glide phase and supports forward movement as the arms recover. In butterfly, the kick follows a wave-like motion that matches the stroke rhythm, keeping the movement smooth and powerful. Mastering an effective kick is essential for improving speed, balance, and overall efficiency in the water. Do you know the direction of the kick that creates propulsion? Let's take a look at some more swimmers. In front crawl, it is the downward kick that creates the propulsion. Ensuring that the swimmer's toes are pointed and ankles relaxed will increase the effectiveness of their kick. On the downward kick, the top of the foot pushes against the water, creating propulsion. This is the most powerful part of the kick. The upward motion is more of a recovery phase, with less emphasis on force. The back of the leg and foot assist in lifting the leg back up. In backstroke, it is the opposite. The upward kick creates the propulsion here, but ensuring the swimmer does not kick out of the water will make this kick effective. On the upward kick, the top of the foot pushes against the water, creating propulsion. Again, think about the top of the foot pushing up against the water to create the propulsion. When it comes to butterfly, again the downward kick using the top of the foot is responsible for most of the propulsion. Making sure that a rhythmical undulating kick is being performed here is key. With each of these 3 strokes, there are some similarities. All three require the toes to be pointed. Ankles relaxed and legs close together to create maximum propulsion. The kick in breaststroke is often referred to as the whip kick. It is a distinctive and powerful motion that contributes significantly to propulsion of the stroke. The feet turn outwards so the soles face diagonally outward. The kick is performed symmetrically and the propulsion comes from the heels and soles of feet like jumping off the water's resistance. Sculling is the basis of all arm pulls. It teaches swimmers how to use their hands and forearms effectively to manipulate water and generate lift, essentially grabbing the water to pull against. By practicing sculling, swimmers develop a better feel for the water. This feel for the water is the movement of the hands in curved pathways to keep finding fresh non-moving water to pull against. Sculling is small but crucial movements of the wrists and are pivotal during the catch phase of a stroke. The catch is where swimmers initially grab hold of the water, and a strong sculling action ensures maximum propulsion during this phase. As we lose our grip, we move the hands sculling to find water to grab hold of again. Practice enables the swimmer to improve stroke mechanics by feeling when to make subtle adjustments to hand positioning, increasing the effectiveness of their pull in strokes. For example, swimmers use sculling motions during the initial arm pull to generate lift and propulsion before transitioning into the paddle. Other benefits of practicing sculling include helping swimmers maintain a stable and streamlined body position. This stability reduces drag and keeps the swimmer balanced. In strokes like breaststroke, sculling motions are integral to synchronizing the arm pull. The outward and inward sweep of the hands in breaststroke is a form of sculling that helps generate both propulsion and lift. Sculling is not only about moving forward but also about mastering control in the water. For example, treading water, sculling is a critical skill for staying afloat and maneuvering. Sculling motions allow swimmers to remain stable whilst taking part in aquatic games, other aquatic disciplines and water safety. Repeated sculling practice builds endurance and strengthens the shoulders, forearms, and wrists. This improved muscular control and stamina translate to more powerful and effective strokes. Paddling is a primary source of propulsion. The swimmer presses back against the water's resistance, causing an opposite reaction, and they move forward. By pulling against the water with the hands and forearms, swimmers propel themselves forward. This utilizes the principle of Newton's third law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Proper paddling technique reduces wasted energy and increases efficiency. It contributes to stroke rhythm as paddling sets the rhythm for many strokes. Proper rhythm improves overall technique and minimizes disruptions in speed. Beyond propulsion, paddling helps maintain body balance and stability in the water. For example, in breaststroke, the arm sweep creates lift, helping to stabilize the swimmer's position. Paddling allows swimmers to fine-tune their direction in the water. Precise hand placement and movements help to keep the swimmer on a straight path. Regular paddling develops strength and endurance in key muscle groups such as the shoulders, chest, triceps, and lats. This improves overall power and contributes to better propulsion over time. Paddling is essential in the underwater phase following starts and turns. A strong and controlled arm pull combines with the dolphin kick to maximize propulsion before the swimmer surfaces. The quality of a swimmer's paddling directly influences their speed. Advanced swimmers refine their stroke mechanics to maximize the distance covered per stroke, minimizing inefficiencies in the water. Let's take a look at how sculling and paddling work together. In all strokes, proper technique ensures that the swimmer's hand enters the water cleanly and engages the water during the catch phase. Let's take a look at front crawl arm pull. Front crawl has a long pull. The swimmer reaches as far forward as possible. This is where the swimmer grabs the water by sculling. Keeping the fingers slightly apart and the palm angled correctly ensures maximum grip on the water. The arm then paddles back against the water into the stroke cycle. A bend in the elbow during the paddle phase creates a powerful lever, directing maximum force backward for propulsion as the swimmer pulls against the water with their forearm and hand. As the paddle loses its power, the swimmer should scull the hand again to re-grab the water, then paddle again to finish the stroke. Scull. Paddle. Scull. Paddle. Proper hand and arm angles during the stroke cycle reduce water resistance and increase the amount of forward propulsion. Optimizing stroke length to maximize distance per stroke means a good paddling technique is needed to ensure that each stroke covers the maximum possible distance by pushing the water all the way past the hip. By applying force consistently throughout the stroke cycle, swimmers minimize wasted effort and reduce the number of strokes needed to travel a given distance. Backstroke again features a long pull, with the swimmer reaching as far backward as possible with the arm above the head. The swimmer turns the palm of the hand outwards. The little finger enters first and the swimmer sculls to grab the water and initiate the stroke. Keeping the fingers slightly apart and the palm angled correctly ensures maximum grip on the water. The arm then paddles by pushing down with the palm of the hand against the water into the stroke cycle. A bend in the elbow during the paddle phase allows the swimmer to push against the water with their forearm and hand, creating a powerful lever that directs maximum force for propulsion towards the legs. Again, as the paddle loses its power, the swimmer should scull the hand again to re-grab the water, then paddle again to finish the stroke. Scull. Paddle. Scull. Paddle. Proper hand and arm angles during the stroke cycle reduce water resistance and increase the amount of backward propulsion. Optimizing stroke length to maximize distance per stroke means a strong paddling technique is essential to ensure that each stroke covers the maximum possible distance by pushing all the way past the hip. By applying force consistently throughout the stroke cycle, swimmers minimize wasted effort and reduce the number of strokes needed to travel a given distance. In butterfly, the hands enter the water shoulder-width apart, thumbs slightly down, and fingers pointing forward, sculling to grab the water. The wrists and hands are slightly flexed, creating a feel for the water. This initial movement sets up the position for generating propulsion. The swimmer presses the water down and initiates the paddle, moving the hands inward and backward under the body in a V shape towards the hips. As the hands lose their grip on the water, the swimmer sculls again to regain their grip before paddling again to push the water back past the hips. Scull. Paddle. Scull. Paddle. In breaststroke, the arms extend forward in a streamlined position with hands together to start. The palms turn outwards with the hands at an angle to scull and catch the water. The wrists are slightly flexed, and the thumbs point slightly downward to grab the water and create lift. Once the swimmer catches the water, the swimmer maintains high elbows while the hands move outward to approximately shoulder width apart. The forearms act like paddles, with a focus on maintaining an early vertical forearm to maximize the pulling surface area. During this phase, the hands and forearms generate the most propulsion by pressing water backward, propelling the swimmer forward. The motion should be smooth and controlled to avoid oversweeping. This phase is followed by a change in pitch of the hands as the hands move to sweep inwards until the hands are close together under the chest, preparing for recovery. The hands then shoot forward together in a streamlined position, preparing for the next stroke cycle. Understanding resistance in swimming is essential to understanding the forces acting against the body as it travels through the water. All swimmers experience resistance in the water, from beginners to elite swimmers, but this can be a significant reason why our swimmers who are still learning may be wasting energy or struggling in their development. The three main types of resistance we will cover are: frontal resistance, also known as drag. This is the water pushing against the swimmer from the front as they swim. Understanding and minimizing frontal resistance is critical for improving swimming efficiency and speed. Viscous drag is the resistance experienced by the swimmer due to factors like body hair, swimsuit material, and water flow over the skin. and eddy currents created by swimmers making gaps in the water as they swim. Frontal resistance. Resistance forces swimmers to expend unnecessary energy and reduces their ability to carry on as they tire. Imagine a swimmer hitting a wall of water as they swim. The more of the body the water hits, the more resistance they will feel. There are a number of factors associated with minimizing frontal resistance, which should all be considered when we teach. Body position. A horizontal, streamlined body reduces drag. Think back to the wall of water we mentioned earlier and look at the picture on screen. If the swimmer has dropped hips or legs, this will create a larger surface area against the water, increasing the resistance. Therefore, streamlining practice should be prioritized to correct. Head alignment. Lifting the head too high disrupts body alignment and increases drag. That wall of water is now hitting the swimmer's chest. This is a large surface area trying to push through against the water. Lifting the head often drops the hips and legs as well, so the swimmer really is fighting through. Practice to position the head in the correct position whilst breathing in particular will help to reduce the resistance. Arm and leg movements. Wide or inefficient arm strokes and kicks can increase frontal resistance. Prioritizing streamlining of the swimmer's arm and leg movements both in width and depth will reduce turbulence and drag. Other factors include disconnected or mistimed movements which waste energy and tire the swimmer further. Equipment held incorrectly or not fit for the practice will face more resistance. And a focus on proper technique will reduce unnecessary actions, such as overreaching or overly aggressive pulls, which waste energy and lead to fatigue. Wave drag. As the name suggests, wave drag is a type of resistance in swimming caused by the waves generated at the water's surface as a swimmer moves. Wave drag occurs due to energy loss when a swimmer's movements disturb the water surface, creating ripples and waves. The faster the swimmer moves, the larger and more frequent the waves, also increasing drag. Wave drag is most noticeable near the surface of the water where wave creation is highest, and swimmers at the surface face greater wave drag compared to those submerged. Wave drag increases significantly with speed, and it can account for a substantial portion of the resistance a swimmer experiences. Minimizing wave drag through technique, body positioning, and underwater swimming is essential for achieving efficiency. Eddy currents occur when a swimmer moves through water. As they swim, they leave a space behind them. The water rushes in to fill that space, and this creates an eddy current, not dissimilar to a whirlpool. The eddy currents behind a swimmer can cause the water to move very quickly, and that can pull swimmers back. Viscous drag, also known as surface drag or skin friction, is a type of resistance experienced by swimmers as water flows over their body. Viscous drag forces swimmers to expend extra energy to overcome resistance, especially over long distances. It mainly results from the friction between the swimmer's skin and the water in direct contact with it, or from unsuitable swimwear. Although it is a smaller portion of total drag, it plays a significant role in swimmers' energy expenditure. Additionally, wearing well-fitting swimsuits designed to reduce friction will help in reducing this type of resistance. Oversized swimwear or unsuitable material will add to drag and should be avoided. Wearing swim hats will reduce drag on a swimmer with long hair and reinforce safety. The front crawl is the fastest and most efficient stroke, but it also faces resistance for the following reasons. Body position plays a key role in minimizing drag. If the swimmer's body isn't horizontal and streamlined, the legs or hips may drop, increasing frontal resistance and slowing progress. Arm recovery above the water, while efficient, can create turbulence if the arms aren't fully extended or enter the water at the wrong angle. This disrupts the flow and increases drag. Breathing in front crawl can break the swimmer's streamlined position. Turning the head for air can cause slight body rotation or lift, which increases frontal resistance and slows forward momentum. The flutter kick, while propelling the swimmer, can create additional drag if performed too vigorously or inefficiently. Excessive splashing or uneven kicks increase turbulence and reduce overall efficiency. Timing and coordination are crucial in front crawl. Poorly synchronized arm movements, kicks, or breathing disrupt the rhythm, causing resistance and loss of speed. The front crawl is highly effective when performed with proper technique, but overcoming these sources of resistance is essential to maintain its speed and efficiency. The backstroke is a smooth and graceful stroke but also faces resistance due to the following factors. Body position is key to reducing drag. If the swimmer's hips or legs drop below the waterline, the body creates more frontal resistance, slowing forward motion. Arm recovery above the water, although efficient, can cause turbulence if the arms don't re-enter the water smoothly or at the correct angle. Poor entry disrupts the flow and increases drag. Breathing, while less disruptive than in other strokes, can still affect body alignment. Any excessive head movement or misalignment can break the streamline, increasing resistance. The flutter kick, which drives the swimmer forward, can create drag if performed inefficiently. Overly wide or splashy kicks produce turbulence, reducing propulsion and increasing resistance. Timing and coordination are essential in backstroke. Asymmetrical arm or leg movements disrupt the rhythm and create unnecessary turbulence, slowing the swimmer's progress. The backstroke combines elegance with power, but mastering body alignment, timing, and technique is crucial to minimize resistance and maintain efficiency in the water. The butterfly stroke is both powerful and graceful, but it also creates a lot of resistance for several reasons. The undulating body motion used in butterfly creates vertical movement, which generates waves. These waves increase resistance and make it harder to maintain forward momentum. Arm recovery above the water looks smooth and impressive but requires significant strength. If the arms aren't timed or aligned correctly, they create turbulence and increase drag. The dolphin kick, with both legs moving together, is strong and essential for propulsion. However, it creates turbulence and eddies behind the swimmer, which reduce forward speed if the kick isn't well timed or consistent. Breathing is another source of resistance. Each time the head is lifted for a breath, the body comes out of its streamlined position, increasing frontal resistance and causing more wave drag. Timing and coordination are critical in butterfly. Mistakes in the rhythm of the arms, legs, or breathing disrupt the flow, creating more turbulence and slowing the swimmer down. The butterfly stroke is a display of strength, skill, and precision, but its technique must be mastered to overcome the challenges of resistance and drag. The breaststroke is a controlled and powerful stroke but faces the most resistance of all due to the following reasons. Body position in breaststroke creates significant frontal resistance. The angle of the body in the water means it encounters more drag than other strokes. Breathing increases resistance as the head and upper body are lifted out of the streamlined position with every arm cycle, repeatedly disrupting forward momentum. Arm recovery in breaststroke happens underwater, which is unique to this stroke. This movement increases frontal resistance as the arms push against the water while returning to the starting position. Leg kicks and arm sweeps are wide and powerful, creating waves that add to overall resistance. The upward lift of the body for breathing also contributes to wave drag. Timing and coordination are critical in breaststroke. Misaligned or asymmetrical movements increase turbulence and reduce forward momentum, making the stroke less efficient. Breaststroke demands precise timing and technique to overcome its natural resistance and maintain forward propulsion in the water. Well done for completing this CPD. We hope you have enjoyed it. You splashed it! Make sure you continue learning with our linked content in the Atlantis app.